Hi, everybody. This is Virginia Milner coming to you from the DeKalb County Library System. And we're going to do another one of my eclectic projects, statement pieces, I hope. Actually, I know it is. It's a statement piece. And I know that, again, that this is the type of thing that scares people because they just say, ooh, we want symmetry, please. It's so much simpler. But I think there's a lot to be said about being able to use your imagination and just run with it. How often do you get the chance to do that? So just kind of take that anal side of you and push it to the side and and just play. I had a hard time with that too. As I've shared before, I've thrown out so much wire and so many, taken apart so many things, thinking that they weren't good. And then at one time I stopped taking it apart. I just put it in a bowl and put it to the side. And then one day I thought, what is in there? And I took the little lid off the bowl and I looked in there and I started pulling the pieces out going, oh my gosh, these are genius. I mean, it just took a minute stepping away from it and giving it a chance and taking another look before I realized that it wasn't as bad as I thought. And in some cases, it wasn't bad at all. It was pretty fantastic. So I want to see if we can just do that today. What I would suggest when you're doing things like that is instead of being uber critical about every little thing, because this is going to be very freeform, very bohemic, just play and just have fun with it. And I'm gonna, full disclosure, I already did this video once and last night, and the lighting was horrible. I could find no way to justify it to the point that I would just put it out there. So I am doing it again. So whereas yesterday I was starting with something that I didn't know how it was going to turn out, and we were just going on this little adventure together, today I actually do know what it's going to look like. And I will tell you, it's fabulous. It is so neat. So enough of my chitter chatter. Let's talk about what we need. So the first thing that we need is just a hodgepodge of unmatched beads. Each one of these makes its own little statement. And if I had two of them, I'd be making earrings. And I kept pulling them out going, oh no, is there another one? Is there another one? Earrings. Nope. But I said, I am not getting rid of those because they are awesome. So I'm going to take them and I'm going to put it into a statement piece. And I'm just going to be talking through my necklace. So that's what we're going to do. Go and find some of the oddest pieces of the oddest piece that you can find. Some of them may be pretty, some of them may be kind of weirdly shaped. Doesn't matter. That's what this piece is for. It's to give them their own light and to let them shine. So what you're going to need, your usual tools: round nose, square nose, and cutters. And you will need a ruler to measure your wire. And there's something else, jump rings. You'll need jump rings, and of course the beads. So let's get started because I want to show you what we can do when we don't get too stiff. All right, so like I said, we're going to have this selection of beads. And as you can see, I took some of them apart. I was going to take all of it apart. And then the practical person in me said, no. So I didn't do it. But I'm going to show you how to wrap the beads and how to use, oh, that's the other thing. A bead board. This is one of the type of things where a bead board will come in quite handy because you'll be able to take your beads and line them up on the board and see how they look before you put them together. And then you're going to be able to put all your beads together. So let's go ahead and get started. You can use 22 or 20 gauge wire. I'm using 22. I wouldn't go smaller than 22. And remember, 22 is smaller a thinner wire than the 20, the larger the gauge, the thinner the wire. I wouldn't go thinner than 22 because I have some quite large beads here. They're not all heavy. Some of them are gemstone, and so they are heavy. I've kind of gone back and forth with some gemstones and some glass and some clay and some wood and some coconut shells and things like that, and put them all into one necklace. So because of the fact that it may be a little heavy, you don't want to go less than 22 gauge. All of that to say that don't go smaller than 22. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to wrap your beads. It's very, very simple. We're just going to do an easy wrapped loop. And the way that you can know, because they're all different sizes, it's not one of those things where you're just going to cut all of the pieces the same size, because your beads are all different sizes, and you're going to need a good 1 to 1.5 inches on each side in order to make your loop and make your wraps. So I would suggest that you lay out your bead, put your bead on your wire, measure off about 1 to 1.5 inches on each side. 1 inch is probably enough, but it depends on whether or not you want to make a little cap on the top of your bead like that. Just use the wire and make it really decorative. Or if you just want to wrap it up and not do anything decorative with the wire, that's fine too. But if I have wire left over, I am going to keep wrapping. So anyway, you're going to put your bead on, or either just measure the size of your bead and add 2 to 3 inches in addition to whatever the length of your bead is, and go from there. So go ahead, cut that off, and I'll put my bead back on, put it in the center, just center it, and then I'm going to bend one side of my wire back until I have an upside down L shape like that. So I have one long length and one shorter length, like so. Then I'm going to take my round nosed pliers and I'm going to slide them under the short tail. I'm going to slide that wire down to about 1/3 of the way down my pliers, because I'm going to make a nice substantial sized loop. It depends on the look that you want, but because I'm using jump rings, I want my little loops to kind of match almost the size of my jump rings. My jump rings are size 6, so I don't want the loops to be quite that large, but I don't want them to be so small that they just disappear and don't look like they're part of the design. So I'm going to go 1/3 of the way down my pliers, and that, if I look at the barrel all the way around, that gives me an approximate idea of what size my loop is going to be. And then I'm going to take the short tail of my wire, I'm going to bring it over the top and around to the side of my pliers and stop. And now both of my wires are vertical. Then I'm going to, without taking the wire out, I'm going to rotate my pliers back like so, clamp back down, and then bring that short tail all the way under my pliers until I have that little L shape again, and I have a loop. So there's my loop. And now I'm going to wrap it. So I'm going to grab, you can do this one of two ways. You can leave the pliers on the loop and wrap that tail around like so. Or I'll show you the other way on the other side. So I'm just going to wrap that once because I want to put my bead back on, and I'll finish the wrap after I have the bead on, because I will decide on whether or not I want to make a little cap on there. But before I do that, I'm going to go to the other side and start my second loop. I want my loops to go the same direction. So I'm going to, this is the flat side of my loop, and I'm going to bend my wire back in the direction of the end of my loop, if that makes sense. And I'm going to slide my pliers under the wire, and my wire is down about a third of the way, the same place that I did on my first loop. I'm going to bring that tail over the top of my wire until it can't go any further on the bead. Then, without removing my wire, I'm going to turn my pliers until they're on top of the wire, on the top of the loop. And then I'm going to bring that wire all the way around under the pliers and over the top of the bead until I have another loop. And now the second way that you can wrap that loop is to grab your flat pliers, grab the side of your loop, the face of your loop, and wrap. Now I'm going to go ahead and continue my wrap until I have no more wire left. You can count your loops if you want. You want 3 loops or 3 wraps, you can count 3 wraps so that both sides are the same, or you can be really free form and just wrap and wrap and wrap. I'm going to wrap and wrap and wrap because I don't like to lose my wire. If I had 2 inches of wire on one side and only 1 on the other, I might be a little more picky, but as it is, they're almost the same size because we did what we measured. So I don't have to worry about it being weirdly asymmetrical. Okay, there's my first wrap. It's got a little cap on the top. Go to the other side and wrap that side. Just wrap it around until I don't have any wire left. And once I get to the point where I can't wrap it with my fingers anymore because I just have that little tiny part, I'll go ahead and grab another pair of pliers and wrap it the rest of the way. And then when I just have that little end, I will push that down until it's as close to the other wires as I can get, so it won't snag on my clothes or scratch my skin. That's pretty good. Make it a little tighter under there. I try to push it under the other wires. This little tail, I try to push it under the other wires. And that way, no scratching, yay. So there we go. There's my wrapped loop on both ends. And you can see that both of them are laying the same direction. They're both flat. Yay. Let's do one more of those. So let's take this black bead. And again, I'm going to, you notice how I don't bother straightening this out because we're about to wrap it up. Why bother? Let's slide that on. Give myself a good 1 to 1.5 inches of wire for wrapping purposes. Snap that off. And let's see. Oh, yeah, pretty good. Yep. Bend my wire until I have my upside down L. And take the pliers and position them under the short tail. Slide my wire down about 1/3 of the way down. Pliers, wrap the short tailed wire over my pliers like so. Open my pliers, rotate back, clamp back down, bring that short tail under my pliers until I have a nice little loop. Now, I see some people bring the wire all the way up. You don't need to do that. When you make your loop, you still want to have that upside down L shape. So you just want it to look like this. The short tail should just be out to the side, not heading up to the top. Okay, and then I'm going to wrap one time around the base of my loop. Grab my bead, slide it on. Give myself another little bend in my wire. Again, I want to make sure they're going the same direction. So here's the face, here's the right and left of my wire. And here's my, the other side is going right and left as well. Grab my pliers, slide them under my wire tail, slide the wire down about a third of the way down my pliers, and wrap the wire over the top of the pliers. Turn the pliers up, bring that tail all the way around until it's under the pliers and on top of my bead, so I have a nice little loop. I'm going to slide that back in there and show you how to do the wrap with the pliers in the loop. Just wrap, that's all. You just leave them in there and you just wrap and wrap and wrap until you can't wrap no more. Okay, I'm getting silly. Okay, now I only have this little teeny tiny piece here. So I'm going to take my pliers, second pair, and I'm going to just bend that around at the bottom and push that little end under the other beads. I mean, the other wraps. Nice. Isn't that pretty? Okay, let's go to the other side and wrap that one as well. Okay, this time I'm using the pliers to the side of the bead trick instead of inside the bead trick. Okay, wrap it around, wrap, 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 wrap. And grab my other pliers. See how I kind of curved it around a little bit to make it easier. And now I can just, I usually don't like to use the round pliers to hold my loop, because if you squeeze too hard, you can put dents in your loop. So you want to be careful about that. You're better off using the square pliers because they won't dent your little loop. And then just use the round pliers to pull it around the rest of the way. And push down my little end under my loops, under my wraps. I keep saying loops, under my wraps. There we go. And there we have nice wrapped beads. Now comes the second fun part. I am bringing out the bead board. Come on out of there. Come out, come out. Okay. Ooh, see if I can get it all in the picture. There we go. That's good. Now, the bead board comes in really handy because you can use that to determine the length of your necklace. Come on, get in, get all in the picture. You can use that to determine the length of your necklace. Still adjusting, sorry. Yeah, that's better. There, I think. Yeah, okay, so you can use that to determine the length of your necklace. If you look at the numbers on all the way around the bead board, if you want an 18-inch necklace, for instance, just make sure your beads go up to the 9 on each side. If you want a 20 inch necklace, go up to the 10s on each side, and it'll also help you place whatever centerpiece you have, if you have one. We don't really have one for this because it's just eclectic. So it doesn't really have a front or a back, sort of. It does have a back, but I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that back so that it makes it not as much of a front and back necklace as you would think. So, like I said, these are already put together because, frankly, I just couldn't bring myself to take it all apart again. So what we're going to do is put these on the bead board and figure out what to do with these others that are not wrapped or are not put together. So these are going to be my center beads, the ones that go down at the bottom. And then the rest of these, let's see here. Yeah. These are going to go over here. Let's go this way, or this way. Yeah, I want this guy to show very nicely. And I think I want to make this one sort of the center, because this is a nut. It is. It's some kind of a nut. I just love natural things. It has been tumbled like crazy and shined up, and it is beautiful. And it like had little seeds inside of it. I had to get rid of them. But isn't that just gorgeous? And I want to show it off. So that's going to be my center. And then I had this really, really strange black bead that if I had had another one, I'd be wearing it on my ears, but I don't, so I can't. So it's going in my necklace. It's going to go here, I think. Yeah. And then here's another. I'm not sure if this is a coconut. You can see the little split there where it's really, I just love it. Anyway, that's going to go. I could talk about these things forever, but that's going to go right there, I think. Or should I put it over there? I don't want to, yeah, well, yeah, let's go here. Let's look. And then I'm going to put this black one with this interesting detailing. It's just an onyx colored, I think it's just black glass. And that's going to go right here next to this carved bead that I also love. I have 2 carved beads on here. Awesome. I have this, oh, I can't remember what this stone is right here. I can't remember. Anyway, what is this? Is it jasper? I don't remember. Anyway, so this is how you build your necklace. You just put it on the board, arrange it, rearrange it, turn it around. Do I want it this way? Do I want it that way? Sometimes I have classes where I encourage people to take the beads, line them up on the board, see how you like them. And the beauty of using jump rings to put your beads together is you can go ahead and wrap all of your beads, then lay it out on the board again. 9 times out of 10, they shifted things around. After they saw how the wire made the beads look, they started changing the direction and the design because the wire was part of the design. And it made a difference it made a difference in the way it looked instead of the way it looked without any wrapping on it. 9 times out of 10, it was kind of amazing to watch. And they kept saying, oh, I'm going to switch this. I think I'm going to change this. I had it this way, but I'm going to make it this way. So that is one of the beauties of the bead board and having the option and the ability to change it around, because you're putting it together with jump rings that are removable. Okay. Anyway, enough chitter chatter again. My gosh, I'm just talking too much. So here we go with our. I want to move this, but I don't want to ruin my camera. It's so perfect right now. Okay, so there is the way my necklace is going to look right now. There it is. And I just love it. Okay, so now let's put everything together. Now that I have really talked your ear off for like 10 minutes for no reason other than because I can. So how do we put them together? Jump rings, jump rings, jump rings. So we're going to take our jump rings. I'm going to show you the proper way to open them. I'm going to take 1 pair. There's 3 ways that I can think of. I'm sure there are more. One way is to just take your fingers, find the opening. There it is right there, and twist them open. But these are 6mm jump rings that I'm using. Again, You can use whatever size you want. I could have gone to 8 or 10 because of the size of these beads, but I was afraid it would make it too much longer than I wanted. And I didn't want to get rid of any of my beads because I love them all. So I'm using a slightly smaller jump ring, but really you could go 8, 10, 12 millimeter jump rings with beads this big, depending on the look that you want. But because I'm using 6 millimeter jump rings, that's a little small for me to use my fingers to twist them open because, well, if you have very slim fingers, you can do that. I cannot. So my fingers are long and slightly tapered, but they're not that thin. So I'm going to find the opening in my jump ring. I'm going to put my pliers on one side of it, like so. And then I can take my thumb and just push down until it's open. So now I have a nice open jump ring. You see that? You see my nice open jump ring? Yeah, there it is. So that's the way number 2 you can do it. The third way is, so the first way is you use your fingers only. The second way is to use your pliers and fingers. And the third way is take your pliers and again, put them on one side of the opening, which I have right here. And take a second set of pliers and put it on the other side and twist again, just doing the twist. Come on, baby, let's do the twist. I am being so goofy right now. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, there's our jump ring again. One thing that you do not want to do is pull the rings apart and open because you will ruin the circle. Once you pull it apart like that, you have ruined the shape. And it's really hard to get them back into that shape again and matching up on the tips. So now that we have several open jump rings, let's put it together. So what I'm going to do is take my jump ring, grab one of my beads, and I can see that this needs to be pushed under just a little more. So let's take care of that first. The little end to my wire is sticking out a little farther than I like. So let's just fix that. There, that's better. Okay, I'm going to grab my jump ring and slide one of my beads in the opening of my jump ring. Then the next bead that I want to connect to this, like that, I'm going to grab that and I'm going to slide that on my jump ring too. So now I have my 2 beads on my jump ring and I'm just going to close the jump ring up. And for that, I can just squeeze it together until the ends meet, like so. Nice and clean. And then because I like to err on the way of safety, in that I like to use 2 jump rings in case one of them fails for any reason, the other one can save the day like Superman. Okay, so I'm going to take a second jump ring and I'm going to slide that into one of my bead loops. And then I'm going to bring it around and I'm going to slide it in the other bead loop. Now, be careful. You don't want to get this jump ring caught in this jump ring. You want to keep them both free. And you also want to make sure that you're following this other jump ring around. I don't want to go back here to the back and start and put it into the loop. I want to make sure that they're both going in the same direction. So these 2 are going like this. Slide that in there. Close it up. And because I have so much going on, if I need to, I can introduce my other pliers and use that to close them up. So make sure that the ends are together. And I have a link How do you like that? So let's go ahead and link my next two beads together. That's going to be these two. Grab my jump ring, slide it in my bead loop, grab my next bead, slide it in the jump ring, and close. Get back over here. Slide it in my bead loop. It's going to fall off again, isn't it? It doesn't want to go. Doesn't want to. Just doesn't want to. But you're going to have to, because I say so. Slide that on. Slide that on. Squeeze them together. Grab my other pliers and finish the job. Really? Really? Come on. Okay, let's see. Is it nice and neat and tidy? Are they nice and neat together? There we go. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, grab another jump ring. And slide the jump ring in one of the bead loops. Make sure you're avoiding the other jump ring. Go around and slide it in the second bead loop. And close it up. You can use your fingers and the pliers, or you can use two pliers, whichever works better, or you can use a combination of the two. And there we go. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Let's put it all together. Have another one. Grab my jump rings. Slide it on the bead loop, on the other bead loop. Close it up. Finish the close. There we go. Another one. Slide it in one loop and the other loop. Close it up. Oops. Don't get tangled in that other one. No, no, no. Here we go. Nicely closed. And very good. Nice. Okay, now we are putting it all together. So let's attach the bottom to the left and right, the right and left. So I need 4 more jump rings for that. So let's open a couple more. Find my opening, there it is. Open it up. Slide my jump ring into one of the bead loops and pick up that other bead and put that in there. Close it up. Nice and tight, snugly fit. Good, 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 good. Another one. I have 2 more in here, but I know I'm going to need them for the other side. So I may as well go ahead and open these up. Let's open these babies up. And Where did I leave off? There we are. One loop, another loop, close it. Nice and flush. Good. Go to the other side and finish it off. Jump ring through the loop. Jump ring through the second loop. And close. And let's grab the other jump ring. One loop, two bead loops, and close. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how it works. Nice, 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 nice. Trying to get it all in the picture. Kind of, sort of, kind of, sort of. There we go. What do you think? I am liking it a lot. Let's put it over here. Maybe you can see it better on this smaller one. Yeah, nice. Isn't that pretty? Very pretty. So now, how do we clasp it, you ask? Well, with a clasp, how else? We have to put a clasp on. It's absolutely necessary for us to put a clasp on because otherwise we can't close our necklace up. And now with the beads the way they are, I have approximately, what, 21, let's see, a little more than 20 inches, about 21 inches. So by the time I finish and put my clasp on, it's going to be about 22 inches. Why? Because I am going to make a beaded clasp. We can't do anything halfway. So we're going to make a clasp with a little bead on it so it fits in with the rest of the necklace and does something more than just sit there and be functional. So here's what we're going to do. I have this broken necklace that I said, well, I mean, all of this is upcycled anyway. We're all using upcycled beads. And I saw this piece of turquoise and I thought, oh my gosh, these two pieces are gorgeous. And I only have one little piece of something that's turquoise colored. That's not turquoise. This is. And I said, well, good. Then I have something else that kind of sort of looks like that. This is closer, but maybe I should use this one instead. But it's going in between these. And I wanted something that was about the same size. And this is flat. This is not flat. And I think it works better. Isn't that awesome? Yes. So we're going to go with this one. Should we do this one or this one? Which one? Which one? Which one? You can't tell me because you're not here. So I'm going to make an executive decision and use this one because that just looks awesome with this. So let's go ahead and cut it off of the cord because that's the way we roll. And let's do this. Okay, so we're going to make a wrapped beaded, I'm losing my little thing here. We're going to make a wrapped and beaded clasp. So in order to do that, we're going to need a good, about 5 inches of wire to work with. So I'm going to cut that. Give myself a good 5 inches of wire. Because this is a good size. And what I'm going to do is go down about 1 inch to 1 1.25 inches, 5, 6 1/4, 1 1.25 inches from my tip. And I'm going to fold that short edge over until it's side by side with the long tail. So I'm going to push these together until they're as close as I can get them. And you can use your fingers or you can use pliers to do it. You just want them side by side. That's all. There we go. Nice. Side by side, close together. That's it. And then I'm going to go down here to the bottom, and I'm going to go up about 1/2 inch from the bottom of the short edge. I'm going to bend that up like so. Then I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to clasp down on the 2 pieces of wire that are still side by side. And I want it to be on the flat of the wire. And I'm going to wrap that short tail around the long tail. I'm just going to wrap that around a couple of times. It only needs to be about twice. That is plenty. And 1/2 inch is about enough to do that. Short tail, let's bring that around the rest of the way. And I like to end it on the flat side, right? I like the tip to end right in between the 2 edges of wire. Let's see if I can get this a little clearer. Is that good? Can you see? Can you see me now? There we go. So there's the 2 ends of the wire side by side. And I want this little tip to end up in between those 2 pieces of wire. So I'm going to cut that off. Bend it down a little bit to make it easier to push it down with this time. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off as close as I can get. And I have a pair of pliers that's concave on one side and flat on the other. I'm going to use the flat side because that way I know where I'm cutting. It's nice and close. And this little end here, I don't want it to go flying across the room. So I'm going to turn it down into something. This is great. It's got a little well. I can turn it down in there, cut that off, and that little tail just drops right down in there. It doesn't go flying across the room, into your carpet, onto your floor. It's right there. I controlled the cut. Yes. Okay, so now I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to push that little end that's sticking up there, that little sharp end. I'm going to push that down nice and close to the wrap so that now it won't scratch me. No scratching allowed. There. Now when I make my hook, that's going to be under the hook, so it won't be exposed and able to do any damage. How is that for awesome? So now I'm going to take my bead and I'm going to slide it on my wire. This is what I meant when I said we're going to make a beaded clasp. Yay. So now I want my loop to go, my wire is side by side here. I want my loop to go the same direction. Here's my hook. This is the way the hook's going to go. And I want my loop to go the same side by side direction as my hook. So my loop's going to be going this way, and my hook's going to be going this way. Hook's going to go up and down, loop's going to go side to side. I'm going to bring this down a little closer so that it's easier to see. So you can see these, it's so close together. There's my two pieces of wire. I'm going to bend my long stem up, grab my pliers, round nose pliers that are now hiding from me somewhere. There you are. I'm going to slide my wire down about a third of the way down my pliers, just like I did with my other loops. I'm going to bring that wire across. Now see, I had way more wire than I needed, but that's all right. Rotate my pliers back, clamp back down, and bring that wire under my pliers, between my pliers and my bead until I have a loop. And now I'm going to wrap. I'm going to wrap a lot because I have a lot. Ooh, you know, I might do something pretty with this because I have so much wire. I might be able to do something interesting. So let's go ahead and wrap between the pliers and my bead. I'm going to give it 2 wraps. I'm going to give it, yeah, because I think I will do something fun. So now I have enough wire to do something interesting. And that interesting thing is going to be to bring it down the side of my bead, like so, at an angle. Actually, I'm going to wrap it around one more time. Give myself a nice little cap on top there. Isn't that pretty? Nice little cap. Thinking too close. There, that's better. It's trying to focus. And then I'm going to bring this down the side of my bead at an angle, like that, and wrap it around the other side, just because I can, and I have a lot of wire left. Yeah, and let's wrap that around over the other wrap. Yay. Now I'm going to bring it all the way around. And again, I'm going to end it right there in between my 2 little lengths of wire. See that nice little wrap down there? And I'm going to cut it off so that the tail will be pushed down right in between the 2 pieces of wire again. Snip that off. It was long enough so that I could hold it this time. Take my pliers and push that end down. Here we go, no sharp edges. And now it is time to make my shepherd's hook. I want this to be going. There we go. This wire is very malleable, so you can shift it the way you want for the moment. Over time, it's going to work harden, so it'll stiffen in place. Now I have a little bit of a gap in there, and really that's okay because this is a very free-form piece, but I think I'm going to push those edges together so that it's just a little bit neater, just a little bit. There, that's better. I like that. Now it's time to make my shepherd's hook. There, a little straighter. So I'm going to take my round nose pliers and I'm going to just slide it down about a quarter of an inch away from the tip. just like that. Then I'm going to slide the wire all the way back to the very back of my pliers, avoiding this squared off part because I don't want it square. I want it to be round. And check both sides to make sure it's not drifting over to the square part. Then I'm going to take my wire and I'm either going to bring the bead up and around toward the little tip, or I'm going to twist my pliers and bring them down until the tip touches my bead. And there's my shepherd's hook. Yeah. Now, if this is if you want it a little lower down here, all you have to do is go back a little further back. Here's the top. You can go back a little bit further back here behind the top of it and just twist it. Just adjust it. You can use your fingers, push it down, or you can use another pair of pliers and pull it down until it's a little bit longer down towards the bead. But I like it there. I think this is good. So now what I'm going to do is make a little bit of a graceful curve here, right at the neck. This is the neck of it. It's going to bend it back a little bit. Squeeze that down. And then I'm going to take the tip of my pliers and slide it right there under the tip of the bill here, the tip of my wire. And I'm going to just tweak it up. Just give it a little bend. And there we are. There's my shepherd's hook. And there's my beaded clasp, my beaded hook. Is that awesome or what? Now that is going to be attached with what? Jump rings. And there's jump rings already on here that I'm going to take off. Take those off. Take them off, take them off. So that I can put them back on. And once again, show you how that works. I'm going to remove the bead glue because I think that's a little more stuff sitting on here than you need to see. So I'm going to open my jump ring. There's my little opening. There it is. I'm going to open that up. I'm going to go ahead and slide this on. Close it up. Like so. Get the other jump ring together. Here's the end. Open it up. I took it off so I could slide it in the first loop, then back around to the second bead loop, and close it. Nice, neat, and tidy. Yes. And we're all connected. Now it's time to link it together. This is one of the reasons that I said to just make sure that you have a decent sized loop, because this, unless you're going to put another jump ring on there, this shepherd's hook is going to fit right into the bead. And I like to make sure that the end of my shepherd's hook pushes right up against the wrap so that it won't slide off too easily. I like it nice and tight. Nice and tight. so that when I put it on, I know it's not going to come off too easily. And it snaps on. And look at that. There's my little detail right there on the back. Just a little piece of wire across. Just a little extra detail. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my necklace. And the fun part about it is you can't even tell where the clasp is. So I can wear it like this. I can wear it like that with the clasp on the side. It still looks gorgeous. I can pull that up this way and have the large beads on the side and these beads down this side. Let's put it on a form so we can actually see what's happening. And there it is. There it is. Ah, I love statement pieces. I love bohemian pieces. And this is, we are right in the middle of Latino Heritage Month. And I thought this would be a really, really wonderful nod to the nice chunky necklaces that, oh goodness, I lost her name, Kahlo. I can't remember her first name. But she used to wear these incredible pieces. What was her name? Oh my gosh, this is terrible. Let me see if I can find it real quick while I've got you on here. But it's Frida Kahlo. I mean, I've seen some of her pieces and just been in awe of them because they're big, they're chunky, they're colorful, and this is the best that I can do as a nod to her. And that cultural vibe that she produced. I just love it. I've seen some of the pieces and just fallen in love with them. And I think that this is a lovely nod to Hispanic culture. And the month started, interestingly, in the middle of September and it starts September 15th and goes through October 15th. And it's just a wonderful way to celebrate it. So by the time this video comes out, we will be in the middle of that month, and you can make one of your own statements in honor of that. I keep staring at it. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm just absolutely enthralled in what came from a bunch of beads that I couldn't match with anything else and was determined to use somehow. This is how you upcycle. This is how you take something that you would normally not be able to do anything with and make something beautiful out of it. Your turn. Your turn. Your turn to make something really pretty. And those of you who get kits are going to get an eclectic selection of beads that you can use any way you want. Any way you want. So I hope that you will use your imagination and have some fun, because I certainly did. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that it came across somewhat simple and easy, which it really is. And I hope that it'll spark your imagination a little bit. If you have any questions, or if you would like to send me pictures, which I hope you will, please send them to jewelrygin20@gmail.com. That's JEWELRYGIN20@gmail.com. Or you can post them on the DeKalb County Library Facebook page, which is facebook.com/DeKalb Library. We would love to see your pictures. We would love to hear your comments, your feedback, what you liked, what you didn't like, both equally important to me because they help me give you what you would like. We would also like to hear what you would like to see. I really love it when you say, oh, I love this, it's beautiful, but I would also love for you to say, oh, that is beautiful, do you think you could do so-and-so? Gives me some incentive. Anyway, that's enough. I have chatted your ears off, and I apologize for that. I can go back and delete the other video. I hope this one came out fine, and I would love to hear what you have to say. But until next time, I hope you have a great week. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And as always, we will see you later. Bye bye. Bye bye.